At the beginning of the story, we are introduced to a boy whose name is Chen Zhi Yi. Zhi Yi is known as the top student of the school. He believes that there is no problem that he cannot solve. Unfortunately for our boy, he has entered a troublesome situation. He has developed a crush on a problem girl. While sitting on our boy's desk, Xiaomei stretched out her hand to give Zhi Yi a book. The girl gave our boy her homework. She asked him to do it for her. She told our boy that she has to participate in a dungeon run with her guild. The teacher was annoyed to see Xiaomei sitting on the table. He told the girl that the desk is not for sitting. He asked her to get down from the desk. Unfortunately, our boy is a simp for Xiaomei. He gladly accepted her homework. Before the girl left, our boy called out to her. The teacher could not believe that Xiaomei was disturbing the studies of the class genius. He asked the girl to leave the class and stand outside as punishment. Xiaomei ignored her teacher. She asked Zhi Yi if something is wrong. Our boy asked his crush if he can join her in the game. Xiaomei got down from his desk and winked at him when she heard this. She told our boy that he can definitely join her. She explained to him that her team needs a healer. She asked Zhi Yi to meet her at the beginner's village at 8 p.m. She revealed to him that her game name is Bursting Sweetheart. On his way home, Zhi Yi uses an umbrella to cover himself from the rain. While walking, our boy hears that a rare thunderstorm is going to happen in the city at 8 p.m. The person in the news asked every household to turn off their electrical appliances in order to avoid any problems. When Zhi Yi got into his house, he slowly untied his shoe. He announced to his mother that he had returned from school. Zhi Yi's mother was surprised to hear her son's voice. She asked our boy about why he came home so early. Zhi Yi explained to his mother that the school let them out because of the weather. Zhi Yi's mother came out of the kitchen when she heard this. The woman noticed that the rain was quite heavy. With a smile on her face, the woman asked her son to rest a bit before joining her for dinner. After taking his shoes off, Zhi Yi asked his mother if a package was sent for him. The woman told the boy that she put the package in the corridor. When our boy looked down, he saw the package on the floor. Zhi Yi's mother asked her son if he is now interested in games. The woman was happy to see this because she wanted her son to relax more. While the woman was talking, her son went up the stairs and straight to his room. The woman turned around to see her son. She wanted to ask him to eat dinner with her later. To her surprise, Zhi Yi had already gone to his room. Our boy's mother did not understand why her son was in such a hurry. The woman realized that her son must have scheduled to play the game with someone. She believed that this person must be a girl for Zhi Yi to be in such a hurry. When our boy got into his room, he quickly unboxed the package. Zhi Yi took out a helmet from the box. The helmet had the logo of a company known as Cosmos on it. Cosmos is the most immersive virtual reality online game. The helmet allows for nerve sensation in order to give users realistic experiences. While resting on his bed, our boy realized that it is a bit weird that he has never played the game. He believed that Xiaomei must be super strong because she has been playing the game for a while. Zhi Yi raised the helmet up. He told himself that the game will be easy for him. While he was staring at the helmet, someone texted him. The person turns out to be Xiaomei. The girl asked our boy to come online. She told him that she has been waiting for him. Immediately he saw the message. Zhi Yi plugged the charger to a socket and placed the helmet on his head. With a smile on his face, Zhi Yi told himself that he is about to have his first date with Xiaomei. The moment the game started, our boy found himself in a different place. In this place, a large amount of bubbles came together to form the Cosmos sign. The bubbles also sang a song while they were displaying the sign. A huge status window appeared in front of Zhi Yi and welcomed him to Cosmos. Our boy was surprised to see this. He realized that the game might actually be amazing. According to the status window, Cosmos is a survival game. Myths and legends all over the internet were used to create a world of treasures, miracles, and danger lurking in every corner. The status window asked Zhi Yi to choose his class and start his adventures. The system displayed several classes to our boy. While scrolling through the classes, Zhi Yi remembered that his crush told him that she needs a healer. Our boy decided to choose the healer class. After choosing his class, the system told him that he can choose any outfit because this is his first time in the game. Due to the fact that Zhi Yi saw the game as a date, he decided to wear something formal. Our boy picked a suit among the clothes he saw. After setting up his character, the game asked Zhi Yi to wait while it loads. While the game was loading, we see a crazy thunderstorm in the sky. An announcement was sent round the city. The officials told the citizens that the thunderstorm has reached the red warning level. They asked the citizens to turn off their appliances in order to avoid any accidents. As the loud thunderstorm became stronger, it struck our boy's house. Unfortunately for Zhi Yi, the thunder affected his socket and entered his charger. While Zhiliao was thinking about spending time with his crush, the charger electrocuted him. Our boy screamed out in pain. He did not understand what was happening. Before Zhiliao could do anything, his body began to float in midair. A bright light shined from our boy's room. Immediately the light shined. The thunderstorm disappeared. Inside Zhiliao's room, we see that our boy has disappeared and smoke was coming out of the helmet. The moment the helmet fell on the bed, our boy's mom stepped into his room. The woman wanted to ask her son to see why their power went out. To the woman's surprise, Zhiliao was not in his room. Our boy's mom wondered about where her son went to. The scene shifts and we see a bunch of monsters surround Xiaomei. The girl was sitting on the ground with some torn clothes. The monsters appear to have severely injured the girl. While she was on the ground, Xiaomei called out to anyone in the area. She asked someone to save her. Immediately she said this. A bright light shined in the monster's eyes. Before the monsters could take a step, a huge fire descended upon them. As the monsters screamed out in pain, Zhiliao appeared in front of his crush. The girl was shocked to see our boy. Zhiliao helped the girl up and apologized for coming late. He assured her that everything will be fine. Xiaomei moved closer to our boy and told him that he is her hero. The two continued moving closer to each other. As their lips got closer, we see a tongue licking Zhiliao's lips. Our boy asked the person who he assumes to be Xiaomei to slow down. He told the girl that she put too much saliva on his face. When Zhiliao opened his eyes, he saw himself in a desert and noticed that a chameleon was licking his lips. Our boy quickly got up and called out to Xiaomei. The chameleon left him and went to use its tongue to grab a cockroach. Zhiliao did not understand what was happening. He wondered if he has been transported to the beginner's village. Our boy remembered that his body was electrocuted. Yet for some reason he felt comfortable in this world. Zhiliao stood up to look at the desert. When he saw the endless desert, our boy accepted the fact that he was in the game. As Zhiliao walked through the desert, he was surprised to see how hot it was. He never expected the game to be so realistic. Our boy was certain that he was supposed to be transported to the beginner's village. He did not understand why he could not see anyone in the desert. He decided to contact Xiaomei. When our boy placed a call to the girl, the system told him that Xiaomei's character does not exist. It asked him to search again. Zhiliao was surprised to hear this. He was certain that he did not forget his crush's ID. He decided to go to the beginner's village. He believed that Xiaomei would be waiting for him there. He assumed that the village would be nearby. After walking for a while, our boy began to breathe heavily. He used his jacket to cover his head. He placed his hand on his knees and decided to check his game map. According to the map, Zhiliao is in an unidentified area. Our boy became worried when he heard this. He wondered if there is no beginner's village in the area. He became curious about where he was teleported to. Our boy decided to contact the customer care. After loading for a while, the system told Zhiliao that he is not in a service area. Our boy became more anxious when he heard this. It did not make sense to him that he would not be able to contact customer care. Zhiliao threw away his jacket. He realized that he will be losing 900 milliliters of sweat every hour he is under the sun. Our boy understood that he will soon be completely dehydrated and he will faint in a matter of hours. He decided to log out of the game. Zhiliao never expected the game's difficulty to be so high. He decided to log out and explain everything to Xiaomei. The system asked Zhiliao if he will like to log out. Our boy accepted this option. When Zhiliao tapped on yes, the system told him that he is unable to log out. Zhiliao was shocked to see this. He decided to tap the log out option again. The system told him the same thing. Zhiliao did not give up even after seeing what the system said. He continued to tap the log out icon. Unfortunately for the boy, the system gave him the same reply. After tapping for a while, our boy realized that he might be trapped in the game. While he was staring at his status window, a mission pops up for him. Our boy was shocked to see this. The system asked Zhiliao to survive in this world. The time required to complete the mission is infinite. The rewards are unknown, and the penalty for failure is also unknown. Our boy fell to his knees when he saw what the system said. He did not understand why such a thing was happening to him. All he wanted was to play a game with Xiaomei. Now he is trapped in the game. Zhiliao sat on the ground to analyze his situation. He realized that he could not log out no matter the method he uses, and he could not contact anyone in the outside world. Our boy became worried. He wondered if he was going to be stuck in the game forever. 8 hours later, we see Zhiliao walking through the desert. Our boy could not still believe that he is trapped in a game. As time passed, Zhiliao slowly accepted his new reality. He realized that the game's mechanics were similar to that of the real world. The nausea and dizziness that came from being dehydrated were quite real. Our boy knew that he would die if he continues to walk endlessly. He knew that he had to find a source of water. While walking, Zhiliao sees a rock on the ground. Our boy immediately recognized the rock. While watching Stafford's survival show, our boy found out that the rock is a type of limestone. The rock is usually found near spring water. Our boy was happy to see this. He realized that there must be some water in the rocky area in front of him. Zhiliao walked towards this area. As our boy walked forward, we see something sniffing his tracks. The thing began to salivate when it caught Zhiliao's scent. After walking for a while, our boy arrived at the rocky area. He hoped his assumption was correct. When Zhiliao looked into a cave in the area, he found some water dripping into a tiny pond. Our boy was shocked to see this. He swallowed his saliva and rushed to drink some water. He dunked his head into the water and began to drink. Zhiliao felt alive as he poured some water on his face. While our boy was drinking the water, the monster that caught his scent found the cave he was in. After drinking to his satisfaction, Zhiliao fell to the ground and stared at his status window. Although he had solved his water problem, our boy still had no way to escape the game. Zhiliao raised his head up and took a look at his system. He believed that the system would give him a hint on how to leave the desert. When our boy looked at his map, he noticed that the map only shows areas which he has explored. Zhiliao felt discouraged when he saw this. Fortunately, he was not ready to give up. Zhiliao took a look at his status window to see if he missed something. As our boy expected, he is in level 1 and his stats are quite low. His only skill is heal. The system told Zhiliao that skills can be obtained by meeting a level requirement or triggering specific conditions. Considering the fact that he had such low stats and no attack skills, Zhiliao believed that the best thing for him to do is to run whenever he sees a monster. Our boy wondered about how he is going to trigger specific conditions to get a skill. Zhiliao decided to look at the items available to him. When he went to the weapons shop, the system asked him if he wants to take the beginner's package. Our boy accepted this option. The moment he did this, a set of gloves and a sword appeared next to him. Zhiliao was surprised to see this. He did not understand why a healer's first piece of equipment is a sword. Our boy immediately wore the gloves on his hand and placed the sword on his waist. He believed that it is smart to always have his weapons on him. Zhiliao unsheathed the sword and swung it smoothly. Our boy wanted to get a good feel for the sword. After swinging it for a while, Zhiliao took a deep breath and swung his sword at one of the rocks in the cave. He used his sword to cut the rock in half. After cutting the rock, our boy realized that the sword's hardness and durability exceeds that of reality. While staring at the sword, Zhiliao saw a -1% durability notification. He was surprised to see that the wearing down of the sword was displayed. Our boy realized that everything in this world is displayed. While he was staring at his sword, his stomach began to rumble. Upon seeing that the system was not giving him any useful information, Zhiliao decided to go out to hunt for food. He knew that he will not be able to hold out any longer. Before our boy could take a step forward, he hears something behind him. Zhiliao turned around. He decided to see what created the sound. When our boy passed by a large rock, he saw more space in the cave. Zhiliao was surprised to see this. He realized that he was only focused on drinking water. He decided to properly investigate the cave. While looking around, our boy sees a bone on the ground. When he looked at where the bone came from, Zhiliao became terrified. Our boy saw a large amount of animal bones in the cave. Zhiliao did not understand why there was so many animal bones in the cave. When our boy picked up a bone, he noticed that the bone had some teeth marks on it. Zhiliao realized that he had seen the teeth marks before. While staring at the bone, our boy recognized the teeth marks. He knew the animal that the teeth marks belonged to. Our boy dropped the bone and began to run. He knew that he could no longer stay in the cave. While running, a monster appeared in front of him with its mouth open and was about to devour him. Our boy was horrified to see the beast. Fortunately, he was quick enough to go low and roll away from the monster. The monster turned around and faced Zhiliao. According to the system, this monster is a desert wolf. It is a level 5 monster. It has the ability to travel at 10 kilometers per hour under high temperature. It is a very fast monster that uses its teeth to tear its prey apart. Its weakness is in its abdomen. Due to the difference in their level, damages caused by the wolf will increase by 200%. Our boy grit his teeth as he held his injured hand. He could not believe that monsters actually exist in this world. Due to how fast it was, Zhiliao could tell that he cannot run away from the monster. He drew his sword and took a stance. With a serious look on his face, Zhiliao told himself that he will die if he loses. The scene shifts and we get a little backstory about Zhiliao. Our boy was the president of the Swiftwind Kendo Club during his freshman years, and he was the youngest person ever to reach the 6th stage of Kendo in China. Zhiliao learned Kendo because his mother was a fan of the sport when she was younger. She was obsessed with a Kendo celebrity from Japan. His name is Kimura Kane. Due to her love for the sport, the woman had her son learn Kendo at a young age. At first, Zhiliao thought that Kendo was easy. He believed that it was simply about wearing fancy clothes and making fancy moves. However, when he began to take classes, he realized that the sport was not easy. When one faces an opponent in Kendo, you can hear your breathing and heartbeat. An inexplicable sense of fear will come upon the person, and it might even swallow your body entirely and make it hard for you to react and adapt. This kind of fear comes from the fact that a person is weak. In order to overcome his fear, Zhiliao began to train. He strengthened and pushed himself forward. Our boy spent his spare time repeating the movements in the dojo without any air conditioning. Even after training hard, Zhiliao still lost some matches and got injured. However, our boy did not get discouraged. He put himself together and continued training. Eventually, Zhiliao became the youngest 6th stage Kendo practitioner in China. Even after he became a champion, Zhiliao never stopped training. This is because one does not know what kind of terrifying opponent they will face in the world. The scene shifts and we are taken back to the present. The wolf tried to jump on Zhiliao. Our boy was able to dodge the attack. The moment he dodged the attack, our boy used his sword to strike the monster on its back. Unfortunately for him, the sword bounced off the monster's skin. Zhiliao's hand began to shake. The wolf glared at our boy when it felt his attack. It used its tail to attack him. The attack slammed Zhiliao to a wall. Our boy fell to the ground. He did not understand why his attack did not work. The system told our boy that his attack was ineffective because the wolf has a strong defense. It advised Zhiliao to aim for its abdomen. Our boy realized that attacking any other place other than the abdomen would be ineffective. While he was thinking, the wolf rushed to attack him. It tried to bite Zhiliao's head. Fortunately, our boy was able to dodge the attack. He quickly moved back. Although Zhiliao knew the monster's weakness, it did not change the fact that the wolf is very fast. Also, each time the wolf attacks, it attacks with the intent to kill. As Zhiliao slowly backed up, he noticed that he had hit the wall of the cave. Our boy realized that he can only defend and drag out the fight until he dies. As the wolf got closer to him, Zhiliao wondered if he is really going to die in such a horrible place. While he was thinking of what to do, the system told him that his health is low and he needs to replenish it. The moment Zhiliao heard this, he remembered that the wolf's weakness is its abdomen. Our boy immediately thought of a plan. He believed that he should be able to kill the wolf if his plan works. Zhiliao and the wolf ran towards each other. The wolf jumped on our boy and bit his shoulder. As the wolf held on to his shoulder, Zhiliao used his sword to stab it in the abdomen. With a cold gaze in his eyes, our boy told the monster that it cannot dodge this attack. Immediately he said this. Zhiliao pushed the wolf away and said that he has won. Our boy was surprised to see that his plan of allowing the monster to bite him worked. He said that the game is quite interesting. After killing the wolf, the system appeared in front of Zhiliao and congratulated him on his victory. It told our boy that he has reached level 5. It also told him that he has acquired 25 assignable skill points. The moment the system said this, a golden light shined upon Zhiliao and all his injuries were healed. Our boy realized that all his wounds will get healed each time he levels up. After leveling up, the status window appeared and told our boy that he has activated the hidden level shop system. Zhiliao was surprised to hear this. Since this is a game world, our boy believed that it is natural to get skill points after leveling up and gaining experience points after killing monsters. However, he did not know what the hidden level shop system is. While resting on the wall, Zhiliao decided to enter the shop system. The moment he clicked on the enter button, the system released a bright golden light. Immediately the light shined. Countless windows were displayed in front of our boy. The windows had several items. A window appeared directly in front of Zhiliao and told him that he will need his levels to unlock each item category, and he will also have to use his levels to purchase items inside the shop. At level 5, our boy can obtain daily necessities. At level 15, he can unlock medicine. At level 30, he can obtain weapons and defensive equipment. At level 50, Zhiliao can get household appliances. At level 70, our boy can get electronic appliances, and at level 100, he can get mercenary items. Zhiliao was surprised to see the things he could get. He was more surprised to see the levels he needs to be able to obtain the items. Our boy wondered about who would buy a household item in a game. Zhiliao was annoyed to see that the mercenary items cost 100 levels. He clicked on the display button to see the type of items available. The moment our boy clicked on the button, a portal appeared in front of him. While Zhiliao was staring at the portal, a woman holding a sword came out of it. The woman pointed her sword at our boy. Zhiliao was shocked to see this. The woman retracted her sword and took a stance. Our boy realized that she was a hologram. Immediately the woman took a stance. More portals appeared. An offense-type character came out of the portal. A defense type also came out. A magic type came out. An assassin came out, and several other classes also came out of the portals. Among the several characters that came out, a service class also came out. The character was a beautiful woman with revealing clothes. The woman was on a bed. Zhiliao quickly turned away when he saw the character. His face turned red because he could not yet handle seeing such things. He did not understand why the developers would create such a useless option. He wondered if the developers wanted people to live and die in the game. The system told Zhiliao that he currently only has access to the daily necessities. The system asked him if he wants to unlock the daily necessities. Our boy did not like the message. Nevertheless, he accepted the option. Zhiliao was given 5 sugar-filled bread and 3 fat otaku happy water. Our boy sat on the ground and began to eat. Although he did not like the fact that he could not get more, Zhiliao was satisfied with what he got. He asked the system to show him the skill points. The system displayed his status and told him that he has 25 skill points. Our boy noticed that his health was full again. While looking at his status window, Zhiliao realized that he does not know the conditions to activate his skill. He decided to focus on increasing his stats. The system told Zhiliao that he cannot adjust skill points after assigning them. Upon seeing this, our boy realized that his stats will directly decide his future in the game. His physique determines HP, and his intelligence affects his magic attack damage. He understood that strength affects damage, endurance affects defense, and agility can influence speed. Zhiliao remembered that the wolf he killed earlier had an insane amount of strength and speed, even though there was only a 5-level difference between them. Our boy realized that he needs to have the upper hand in terms of speed and attack power if he encounters much powerful monsters. Zhiliao invested 5 points in his physique in order to improve his HP. He invested 10 points each in strength and agility in order to improve his attack power and speed. Immediately he assigned the points. He felt the effects. Our boy noticed that his body is filled with strength and it has become much lighter. Zhiliao liked the feeling of getting stronger. While he was looking at his body, our boy hears something howling behind him. When he turned around, he saw a large amount of desert wolves. Zhiliao never expected to see more wolves. Our boy took a stance and placed his hand on his sword. He was eager to test out his new power-up. He told the monsters that he will wipe them out. The moment he said this, he rushed to attack them. Zhiliao used his sword to cut off the first wolf's head. The moment he did this, our boy realized that he now has enough attack power to ignore the wolf's defense. Immediately he killed the wolf. He leveled up. Another monster tried to attack our boy from behind. Zhiliao turned around and tore the wolf apart. The moment he did this, our boy realized that the stats he increased have also strengthened his swordsmanship. Upon getting this realization, Zhiliao decided to go crazy. He jumped into the middle of the wolves and began to tear them apart. Some wolves tried to run away, but our boy did not allow them. He cut them all up. Zhiliao received multiple level-up messages as he killed the monsters. When our boy was done, he had reached level 15. He gained 24,000 experience points and 75 assignable skill points. Zhiliao was happy that the wolves came to him. After killing the monsters, he stepped out of the cave. Our boy was surprised to see that everywhere was already dark. Zhiliao was happy to see this because the temperature was now cool. He also had enough food and water. Our boy decided to start searching for a way out. While walking, Zhiliao saw something shocking on the ground. He saw the corpses of several desert wolves on the ground. Our boy could not understand why the wolves were all dead. While he was looking at the bodies, he heard a wolf scream out in pain. Someone stabbed the wolf in the neck. Zhiliao immediately placed his hand on his sword when he heard this sound. When our boy looked up, he saw someone holding 2 wolves with their bare hands. Zhiliao was surprised to see this. He wondered about who the person is. When Zhiliao reached the top of the cliff, he did not see anyone around. Our boy was certain that someone was at the cliff. He became more certain when he saw the corpses of the desert wolves. Zhiliao wondered if there are other players who are trapped in the game like him. When our boy looked at a wolf corpse, he noticed that the wolf's blood had been sucked away by something. While our boy was looking at the corpse, something slowly moves closer to him. Zhiliao wondered if another player would use such a cruel method to kill the wolf. He was certain that no player would do such a thing. The moment he got this realization, the system sent a warning message. Immediately the system sent the warning. The thing rushed to attack our boy. Zhiliao turned around when he saw the system's warning. Fortunately, our boy was able to react to the attack. He used his sword to cut off a tentacle. The moment he cut the tentacle, the system told him that his sword has lost 25% of its durability. Upon seeing the tentacle, our boy realized that the thing that killed the wolves was not human. While he was looking at the tentacle, the mysterious entity showed itself to Zhiliao. It turns out that our boy cut off its wrist. This monster had a humanoid structure, that is why our boy thought that it was human. Zhiliao could tell that he was looking at a much stronger monster. While the monster's hand was shaking, our boy took a stance. Zhiliao trembled in the presence of the monster. Our boy could tell that the monster is on a completely different level when compared to the wolves. Zhiliao took a look at his stomach. He noticed that the monster actually managed to injure him. Our boy realized that he would be dead if he did not raise his agility. While Zhiliao was looking at his wound, the monster brought out a brand new hand. Our boy was shocked to see this. He could not believe that the monster actually regenerated. The system tells Zhiliao that the monster is a wandering dominator and its level is unknown. According to the system, wandering dominators exist in the Latinea desert and they have absolute speed. They are at the top of the food chain and they survive on the blood of other creatures. The system told our boy that nothing can escape the dominator's hunt. Although Zhiliao had expected to face other creatures in this desert, he did not think he would face a dominator. The killing intent which the dominator was releasing made our boy feel like something is pressing him to the ground and rendering him helpless. Zhiliao felt like he could only wait for the dominator to kill him. Our boy had never felt something so terrifying. While our boy was shaking, the monster rushed to attack him. Zhiliao was shocked to see the monster next to him. Our boy moved to the side and dodged the dominator's attack. He jumped and tried to attack the monster from the side. Zhiliao did not care if the dominator was terrifying. He swung his sword when he got close to the monster. The dominator watched as our boy's sword came close to its head. Before Zhiliao could land his attack, the monster disappeared in front of him. Our boy was shocked to see this. When he turned around, he saw the dominator's hand in front of his face. The monster landed a heavy punch on Zhiliao's face. Our boy fell and rolled on the ground. While rolling, Zhiliao quickly puts his sword into the ground and used it to hold himself up. While breathing heavily, our boy immediately understood why the system said that the dominators have absolute speed. While Zhiliao was struggling to stand up, the dominator looked at him with curiosity. It disappeared from our boy's front and appeared below him. The dominator landed a heavy blow on Zhiliao's stomach. Our boy dropped his sword and fell to the ground. He spat out some blood. While trembling on the ground, Zhiliao realized that the monster could have killed him with the punch if it wanted to. He did not understand what the monster was trying to do. The moment our boy raised his head up, the dominator used its leg to kick him away. Zhiliao slowly stood up and clenched his fist out of anger. Before he could get up completely, the dominator appeared in front of him. The monster held our boy's sword and stretched out its hand to give it to him. Zhiliao did not understand why the dominator was trying to give him back his weapon. The dominator raised its hand to its neck and gently tapped it. Our boy was surprised to see this. He realized that the monster wanted him to try to cut its head. Zhiliao felt like he was seeing a scenario where a cat catches a mouse but does not want to eat it. Instead, the cat decided to play with its prey. In the next scene, we see the desert sand shining as the sun came up. While breathing heavily, Zhiliao laid on the ground. Our boy's sword has now lost 80% of its durability. As Zhiliao laid on the ground, he realized that he could not beat this monster. Ordinary attacks do not hurt the dominator, and it is extremely fast. The dominator walked up to our boy and grabbed his shirt. He raised Zhiliao up with his shirt. The dominator called our boy a human. Zhiliao was shocked to see that the monster could speak. With a terrifying tone in its voice, the dominator told our boy that humans are like maggots. He told him that humans are a weak species. The moment our boy hears this, he cuts off the monster's hand and moves away from it. Zhiliao calls the monster a maggot and a dung beetle brain. While it was releasing some blood, the dominator took a look at its hand. The monster easily regenerated its hand. With a horrifying look on its face, the dominator called our boy interesting. It told Zhiliao that it has been 100 years since it last saw a human that made it feel so exhilarated. Zhiliao told the Dominator that he also feels exhilarated. Our boy realized that it has been a long time since he last felt alive and fired up. Zhiliao remembered that his family and friends are waiting for him. He also has a long life ahead of him, with a different aura around him. Our boy assured himself that he will not die in such a place. He screamed at the top of his voice and said that he will return home. The moment our boy said this, a bright golden light fell upon him from the sky. The rocks and the sand around him began to levitate. A different aura surrounded him. The system explained to Zhiliao that his extraordinary fighting spirit has activated the special blessing of the god Kebri. The blessings has increased all Zhiliao's stats by 100. With a large amount of energy surrounding him, our boy took a stance. The Dominator became more excited when he saw Zhiliao's stance. It asked him to do his best. The moment the monster said this, our boy appeared next to it and landed a slash on its body. The Dominator lost some blood, however. Our boy was not yet done. He landed multiple cuts on the monster's body. While he was attacking the monster, his sword broke because the durability had reached 0%. Zhiliao simply dropped his broken sword and clenched his fist. He landed a heavy blow on the Dominator's face. The punch sent the Dominator flying. With a serious look on his face, Zhiliao told the monster that he will turn it to his experience point. Our boy moved closer to the monster to finish it off. When the dust in the area cleared up, Zhiliao did not see the Dominator on the ground. Before our boy could take a step, the Dominator appeared behind him in a new form. Zhiliao was horrified to sense the monster behind him. The moment he turned around, the Dominator landed several attacks on him. Our boy fell to his knees. The Dominator called Zhiliao a foolish human. It told him that humans are a weak species. Zhiliao smiled when he heard this. He could not believe that he was not able to win the monster even with his upgrade. The Dominator moved to the sky. While in the air, it gathered energy in its hand. The energy took the shape of a giant Grim Reaper holding a scythe. The monster bid Zhiliao farewell and pointed its hand at him. The moment it pointed its hand at our boy, the Grim Reaper swung his scythe at him. The scythe released a terrifying energy. Zhiliao could not do anything but stare as the attack came close to him. The attack tore him apart. As his eyes slowly closed, our boy wondered if he was going to die. When Zhiliao's hand stopped moving, the system told him that his HP has reached 0 and he has died. The scene shifts and we see Zhiliao open his eyes on a bed. Our boy immediately raised his head and began to breathe heavily. Zhiliao placed his hand on his chest. He was surprised to see that he was still alive. Our boy looked outside through a window next to him. He wondered if he had left the game. When Zhiliao looked outside, he saw a vast grassland and tall mountains. Our boy wondered about where he was. While sitting on the bed, Zhiliao called out to the system. Due to the fact that his system came out, our boy realized that he was still trapped inside the game. Zhiliao could not comprehend what was happening. He was certain that the Dominator killed him. He did not understand how he was in such good health. When our boy took a look at his body, he did not see any injuries. Zhiliao could not understand what was going on. While our boy was checking his body, a girl with red hair steps into the house with a bowl containing some clothes. The girl was surprised to see that Zhiliao was awake. She was shocked to see our boy touching his body. The scenario was weird for her. Zhiliao dropped his clothes and waved to the girl. He told her that he just woke up. The girl turned to the door and called out to a man known as Grandpa Ubre. She told the man that Zhiliao was awake. Upon seeing how the girl was dressed, our boy wondered if he was finally sent to the beginner's village. In the vast grassland, we see an old man covered with scars. The man was picking some vegetables. The old man is Grandpa Ubre. The scene shifts and we see Zhiliao explaining his situation to the girl and Grandpa Ubre. The girl was shocked to hear our boy say that he was killed. Zhiliao assured her that his chest was pierced by an attack. He asked the girl to tell him how he got to their house. The girl pointed at Grandpa Ubre and told Zhiliao that the man found him while he was hunting. While smoking a pipe, Ubre told our boy that he was on the brink of death, but he was not dead yet. He assured Zhiliao that he is not at any beginner village or game. He explained to him that he and the girl are neither NPCs or players. Zhiliao was shocked to hear this. He was certain that he is still inside the game. He believed that Ubre was mistaken. While thinking of what to do, our boy remembered something. He pointed at his status window and asked Ubre and the girl to take a look. The two turned to see what Zhiliao was talking about. Our boy pointed at the different buttons on his system. In the eyes of Ubre and his granddaughter, Zhiliao looked like he was touching the air and screaming. The girl asked her grandpa if the monster hit Zhiliao's head to the point that it messed up his head. Ubre told his granddaughter that our boy's head must have been screwed up badly. While he was looking at the status window, our boy noticed that he still couldn't contact customer care and Xiaomei's ID still can't be found. Zhiliao realized that he was still at square one. He grit his teeth in anger. He did not know how he was going to get out of the game. Zhiliao screamed out that he wanted to leave the game. Ubre told our boy that no one can leave. Zhiliao was shocked to hear this. The old man turned around and told our boy that no one can leave the Latinea desert. Zhiliao was surprised to hear this. He believed that no matter how large a desert is, there should still be a way out. It did not make sense to him that no one is able to leave. He asked the girl to tell him how they got into the desert. According to the girl, she and her grandpa ran into a thunderstorm while hunting giant dragons on the Bergama continent. When they woke up, they found themselves in the desert. The girl's grandpa revealed to her that they are in the Latinea Desert of the Legends, a place where even gods are imprisoned. The only way to get freedom is to find the location of the Temple of Kebri. According to the legends, the desert is a never-ending maze. The girl revealed to our boy that countless people have tried to search for the temple, but no one has ever returned. Gradually, everyone began to accept reality and stopped looking for the temple. They believe that it is better to keep living than to die searching. Ubre places his hand on Zhiliao's shoulder. He explained to our boy that new people are sent to the desert every year, but no one has ever got out. The man turned around and walked towards the door. While walking, he asked Zhiliao to start accepting reality. He told our boy that his granddaughter, whose name is Sailali, will show him around town. Zhiliao was certain that he was still in the game. The only difference is that he had been directly transferred into the game like a character in a manhwa. While our boy was thinking, a mission pops up. The mission was titled The Revenge of Kebri's Sorrow. The system asked Zhiliao if he is going to accept the mission. According to the system, our boy was reborn after receiving the protection of God Kebri. It told him that he must help Kebri undo their seal. In order for Zhiliao to complete the mission, he must find the Temple of Kebri in the Latinea Desert. He must then defeat Nabris, the monster guarding the temple, and release Kebri. The reward for the mission is a key that allows one to leave the Latinea Desert. In the next scene, we see Zhiliao resting on a hill. Our boy was looking at his status window. Although Zhiliao did not know why he was sent into the game, he was happy that he finally had a goal. Our boy was certain that the mission is his ticket out of the game. While he was thinking, someone calls out his name. When Zhiliao raised his head up, he sees Sailali. While holding her dress down to stop the wind from showing her underwear, Sailali told our boy that she has been looking for him. Zhiliao apologized to the girl. He told her that he took a walk because he did not have anything to do. Our boy pointed to the desert and asked her if he is pointing at the right place. Sailali explained to Zhiliao that the place they are currently at is surrounded by the Latinea Desert. In other words, the Latinea Desert is around them. When our boy looked around, he noticed that she was right. He told the girl that it will be hard for him to search for the temple. Sailali was surprised to hear this. She could not believe that Zhiliao was actually going to look for the temple. Sailali assured our boy that the temple does not exist. She told him that he will die if he leaves the town. As Zhiliao walked down the hill, he told the girl that he has already died once. With a serious look on his face, our boy told Sailali that he will find the temple no matter what happens. Zhiliao asked the girl to return to the town with him. On their way to the town, Sailali asked our boy if he is really going to search for the temple. Zhiliao told her that he will. Sailali revealed to our boy that there are several powerful monsters in the Latinea Desert. She told him that even Grandpa Ubre cannot confidently face all the monsters. Zhiliao asked the girl to not worry. He told her that his strength will surprise her. The moment our boy said this, someone launches an attack on them. Zhiliao was surprised to see the attack. When the attack hit them, it caused an explosion. The moment the explosion occurred, 3 men came out of hiding. The leader of the men smiled and said that the prey has been hooked. While trying to catch his breath, our boy looked around. He did not understand what was happening. When he looked below him, he noticed that Sailali used fire to block the attack. The leader was surprised to see that Sailali actually used a wall of fire to block the attack. With a smile on his face, the guy greeted Sailali. The girl was annoyed to see the man whose name is Bobin. Zhiliao asked Sailali if something is wrong. He asked the girl if there is a reason why the men attack them. According to the girl, hunter-thieves are much scarier than monsters in the desert. The hunter-thieves are people who are not willing to hunt in the desert, so they steal other people's items. Sailali referred to them as a group of cowards who are dedicated to hunting and killing their kind for their own living. The moment Sailali said this, Bobin began to laugh. He gathered some energy in his hands and created 2 blades. Zhiliao was surprised to see this. He wondered about the kind of skill Bobin was using. Bobin pointed his sword at Sailali and told her that he will not let her go like last time. The girl's eyes began to glow and fire appeared in her hands. She turned to our boy and asked him to find Grandpa Ubre. She told him that she can handle things herself. The scene shifts and we see Ubre returning home. While walking to his door, lightning strikes in the sky. Ubre was surprised to see this. He wondered if another thunderstorm was going to happen again. When he reached his house, the man realized that Sailali is not yet home. He found this odd because the girl was supposed to have already returned from the town. The scene shifts and we are taken back to the fight. Bobin told Sailali that he will not allow our boy to return home and get the old man. With a confident smile on his face, Bobin reminded the girl that her spells cannot harm him. He told Sailali that it is better for her to follow him obediently. He assured her that he would let Zhiliao go if she obeys him. Sailali told him that she will only leave with him in his dreams. With a cold gaze in his eyes, Bobin told Sailali that she should not blame him for being rude. The girl told Zhiliao that he needs to leave. She assured him that she will find a way to hold the men back. Our boy told her that he is not leaving. Sailali was shocked to hear this. She asked Zhiliao if something is wrong with him. Our boy explained to the girl that the word escape does not exist in his dictionary. He told her that he is not the type of person who abandons his comrades and leaves by himself. The moment Zhiliao said this, Bobin appeared in front of him and grabbed his head. He used his hand to slam our boy's head into a tree. Sailali was shocked to see this. She called out to our boy. With a smile on his face, Bobin called Zhiliao trash. He told our boy that he cannot trick him with his stupid speech. He moved closer to Zhiliao and told him that they do not speak with their mouth in this town, but with their strength. The moment he said this, Zhiliao grabbed his hand and removed it from his head. With a serious look on his face, our boy asked Bobin if he believes that he is strong. As Bobin struggled to set his hand free, Zhiliao asked him if a strong person usually launches a sneak attack on others. Immediately our boy said this. He rushed to attack Bobin in the neck. Fortunately for Bobin, he was able to set himself free and move away from Zhiliao. When the man landed on the ground, he took a look at his hand. He noticed that our boy managed to dislocate his hand. Zhiliao was surprised to see how fast Bobin is. Our boy added all his points to agility, and he was still not able to sense the man's sneak attack. When Zhiliao walked up to Sailali, the girl asked him if he is all right. Our boy told her that he is. Sailali turned to Bobin and asked him to tell her what he is trying to accomplish. Bobin reminded Sailali that he wants her to become his girlfriend. The girl advised the man to give up. She told him that it will never happen. Zhiliao was surprised to hear Bobin's request. He could not believe that the man was acting nervous and irritating simply because he wanted Sailali to become his girlfriend. The girl felt shy when she saw how our boy looked at her. Bobin asked Sailali if she is with Zhiliao. He asked if she rejected him because of our boy. Sailali was surprised to hear what Bobin thought. She told the man that Zhiliao is simply her friend. Our boy did not know how to react to what was happening. Bobin was annoyed to hear Sailali's answer. He believed that she was simply creating an excuse. He took out his sword and asked Zhiliao to have a duel with him. He asked the boy to not hide in his shell like a turtle. With a confident smile on his face, Bobin told our boy that he will stop bothering Sailali if he wins. The moment Bobin challenged Zhiliao, the system displayed a side mission. The system asked our boy to defeat the shadow swordsman Bobin. It asked Zhiliao if he wants to accept the mission. The reward for the mission is the lost map of Latnea. Our boy was surprised to see that the challenge triggered a mission. He was more surprised to see that the reward for the mission is a map. Zhiliao realized that a map would greatly help him in his journey to the temple. He decided to accept the fight. Sailali was surprised to hear this. The moment our boy accepted the fight, Bobin put more energy into his sword. The 2 men behind the man were surprised to see this. The bald one among them asked the other man to tell him why their big brother is suddenly so serious. Sailali told our boy that he cannot beat Bobin. She revealed to him that Bobin is the strongest shadow swordsman in the town. Zhiliao smiled when he heard this. He wondered if a shadow swordsman is strong. According to Sailali, shadow swordsmen are swordsmen who use the power of the shadows. They are extremely fast and are surprisingly strong. The girl explained to our boy that a powerful force is created when shadows and swords are intertwined. While Sailali was talking, Zhiliao walked forward. The girl asked him to not go. She told him that he will die. Our boy continued to walk forward. He did not fear death because he had already died before. Zhiliao did not fear death because he believed that it is a much terrible fate to be stuck in the game. When our boy got close to Bobin, he and the man rushed to attack each other. Zhiliao tried to punch Bobin with his fist, but the man easily dodged his attacks. While trying to land a blow on the man, our boy wondered about how his perfect life got to this point. He assured himself that he would defeat Bobin and get the map in order to leave the game. While Zhiliao was struggling against him, Bobin appeared behind him and tried to attack him. Our boy immediately sensed the swordsman's presence. He turned around and tried to land a kick on the man. Unfortunately for Zhiliao, his attack was quite slow to the swordsman. Bobin smiled when he saw our boy's leg close to him. He stepped back and took out his sword. While our boy was breathing heavily, Bobin asked Sailali to tell her why her lover is so weak. The girl did not know what to say. She did not know how to respond to Bobin's foolish question. While staring at Bobin, Zhiliao noticed something strange. He noticed that the swordsman was only defending and dodging. He did not make any attempts to attack. Sailali moved close to our boy. She told him that she will go with Bobin. She asked our boy to return to the house in order to get Grandpa Ubre to save her. She revealed to Zhiliao that her grandpa is the only person in the town who can take on Bobin. Our boy told Sailali that he is not leaving. The girl was shocked to hear this. With a smile on his face, Zhiliao explained to Sailali that he has to fight the battle. He told her that he might get a chance to leave the desert if he wins. Our girl was surprised to hear this. She asked Zhiliao to explain what he is talking about. She did not understand the correlation between the battle and escaping the desert. Immediately she asked this question. Zhiliao realized that everything that has happened in the game so far is quite weird. The events had no connection to each other and defied logic. It did not make sense to our boy that he got trapped in a game and he was unable to log out. He found it very odd that he was revived after he died, and now the system is asking him to defeat Bobin to get a map. The whole incident seemed too coincidental for our boy. He felt like someone was manipulating the entire situation. Bobin threw his two swords to the ground and placed his leg on them. With an arrogant smile on his face, Bobin asked our boy to tell him why he is simply standing. He asked him if he is regretting his decision. With a smile on his face, Zhiliao told the man that he is not scared. He asked Bobin to not try to run away. The swordsman referred to our boy as a worthless piece of trash and explained that he simply stopped fighting because it is not fun to fight unarmed. He told our boy that he wants the fight to be fair since it is a formal fight. Immediately he said this, he threw one of his sword at Zhiliao. The moment our boy caught the sword, Bobin picked up his other sword. He told Zhiliao that he does not want his subordinates and Sailali to think he is bullying him. When the bald man saw Bobin pick up his sword, he told his friend that Bobin is about to get serious. Zhiliao smiled when he heard this. He told the swordsman that he never expected him to be the kind of person who follows rules. He told Bobin that he still hasn't forgotten the sneak attack he used earlier. Bobin was surprised to hear this. He explained to our boy that the attack was simply a desperate reaction. Zhiliao told the man that he does not need to explain himself. He took a stance and told Bobin that he can start the fight. Bobin smiled when he heard this. He assured himself that he would show our boy the true strength of the shadow. Immediately he said this to himself. Zhiliao charged at him. Bobin smiled when he saw our boy coming closer to him. The moment our boy got close to him, Bobin jumped and released his shadow energy while he was in the air. Immediately he did this, he attacked Zhiliao. Our boy managed to block the heavy attack. The moment he blocked the attack, Sailali called out to him and asked him to turn around. Immediately he turned around. Our boy saw a clone of Bobin behind him. The clone tried to attack him. Zhiliao immediately used his sword to push the one in front of him back. He quickly blocked the clone's attack. The moment he blocked the attack, the clone disappeared and Bobin appeared behind him. Our boy was shocked to see this. He did not understand what was happening. Sailali immediately called out to Zhiliao when she saw Bobin behind him. Before our boy could make a move, Bobin landed a cut on him. The moment the attack landed on him, the system informed our boy that he has lost a lot of health. It told him that he will automatically fail the mission if his HP gets lower than 30%. Bobin asked Zhiliao to admit his defeat. He told him that it is impossible for him to win. While trying to regain his stance, our boy assured himself that he will never admit defeat. The moment he said this, the system appeared in front of him and asked him to use his skill. Zhiliao accepted this offer. The moment he used his heal, our boy's HP returned to 100% and his bleeding stopped. Bobin's subordinates laughed when they saw Zhiliao use his skill. The bald man could not believe that a healer actually challenged a shadow swordsman. Bobin also smiled when he saw this. The swordsman asked our boy to leave Salili behind. He told him that a healer is not worthy enough to challenge him. The moment he said this, he turned around. Zhiliao asked the man if he is scared of being defeated by a healer. He asked him if he is scared that he will be humiliated in front of Salili. Bobin was surprised to hear this. He turned around and asked Zhiliao to repeat what he said. Our boy took a stance and asked the man to fight him seriously. With a smile on his face, Bobin told our boy that he will show him the true strength of a shadow swordsman. Immediately he said this, he brought out 2 clones made out of his shadow. The technique is known as shadow clone. Zhiliao was shocked to see 2 more swordsmen in front of him. He was more surprised to see that the clones were holding their own swords. Upon seeing the clones, Zhiliao realized that it was the real Bobin that attacked him from behind. Our boy realized that the clone and the original body could switch places. Zhiliao was annoyed to see how overpowered Bobin was. With a look of anger on his face, Bobin told our boy that he feels disgusted that he felt compassion for him earlier. He was annoyed to see that he felt bad for a healer. While releasing some of his magic energy, the swordsman told our boy that he will allow him to experience a shadow swordsman's ultimate attack before he dies. Zhiliao raised his sword up and told Bobin that he will also do his best. Immediately he said this, he rushed to attack the man. Bobin smiled when he saw our boy rushing towards him. He believed that Zhiliao was overestimating himself. He ordered one of his clones to play around with our boy. Immediately he gave the order. The clone rushed to attack Zhiliao. When the clone swung its sword at our boy, he easily blocked the attack. The clone pushed Zhiliao's sword back and took a stance. It tried to pierce our boy's head. Zhiliao dodged the clone's attack and attacked it. While fighting the clone, our boy was surprised to see how exhausting it was to defend against the clone's attacks. He could not believe that he still had to face 2 more people. The moment he took a look at Bobin, he noticed that the clone next to him had disappeared. The clone reappeared behind our boy and Bobin took its place. With a smile on his face, Bobin assured our boy that he will not be able to dodge his attack. The moment he said this, he swung his sword. Salili and Bobin's subordinates were surprised to see what happened. Bobin's clone was hurt. The man did not understand what was happening. He did not know how our boy managed to avoid his attack. While breathing heavily, Zhiliao realized that he almost died. The system sent a message to our boy while he was thinking. It told him that he has a skill due to his agility stats. The skill is known as lightning attack. The skill is at level 1. The system informed our boy that he will get a skill when he is facing off against a fatal hit because of his agility stats. The lightning attack skill allows Zhiliao to dodge all physical damages for 2 seconds and collect the energy remaining within the body for his next attack. The skill allows our boy's damage to increase by 150%. Zhiliao realized that he would have lost his head if he had not gotten the skill. He took a stance and told Bobin that he will get rid of the remaining clone. The swordsman laughed when he heard this. With an evil smile on his face, Bobin told our boy that it is interesting how he survived the attack. He told him that he only managed to hurt his clone. He told Zhiliao that the real game is about to start. Immediately he said this, he used a spell known as Return Banks. The moment he activated the spell, his sword released itself from our boy's hand and returned to him. Bobin did not see a reason to give Zhiliao a weapon. He believed that compassion to an enemy is simply cruelty to himself. He realized that he had underestimated our boy too much. He asked our boy to open his eyes carefully. Immediately he said this. Bobin and his clones joined their swords together. The moment they did this, the swordsman and his clones put their swords into the ground. Bobin activated his ultimate skill known as Desolate Assault. The moment he activated the skill, a dark energy surrounded Zhiliao and covered him. Immediately the energy covered him. An attack was fired at him inside the ball. Our boy managed to dodge the attack, however. Immediately he dodged the attack. Several more blades were sent at him. Zhiliao managed to dodge some of the blades, but he could not dodge all of them. The attacks began to graze him and slowly hurt him. While he was dodging the attacks, our boy received a message from the system. The system told him that he has lost 70% of his HP. It asked him to treat himself immediately. Zhiliao realized that he could not do anything but dodge because he does not have a weapon. While he was dodging an attack, Bobin appeared in front of him. Our boy was shocked to see the swordsman. Bobin swung his sword and knocked our boy down. The man told our boy that his end is near. Immediately he said this. A larger amount of blades were sent at Zhiliao. Our boy could not do anything other than using his hands to protect his body. When Bobin came out of the ball, he smiled and said that he will get Zhiliao a proper grave. The moment he said this, Bobin hears the sound of a lightning strike. The man was shocked to hear this sound. He quickly turned around. A heavy attack was used in the area. Salili and the other men were shocked to see what was happening. Grandpa Ubre helped Bobin to block Zhiliao's attack. The old man covered his hand in a unique energy. He asked our boy to end the fight. The moment the old man let go of Zhiliao's hand, a heavy rain began to fall. Ubre asked our boy to stop fighting. Salili quickly ran to check on our boy. She asked him if he is fine. Zhiliao assured our girl that he is all right. Grandpa Ubre asked his granddaughter and our boy to return home with him. He told them that a thunderstorm is coming. Bobin began to laugh when he saw Zhiliao walking away with the old man. He told them that the situation is quite funny. With a serious look on his face, Bobin asked the old man if he really believes that he can take our boy and Salili away simply because he came. The old man stopped walking and revealed to Bobin that he would be dead if he did not block our boy's attack. The swordsman was shocked to hear this. He believed that Ubre was lying. He quickly remembered how horrifying Zhiliao's fist was before the attack was blocked. The man told Ubre that he is spouting nonsense. With a look of anger on his face, Bobin told the old man that he would have killed our boy a while ago if he did not interfere. While walking, Zhiliao received a message from the system. The system told our boy that he has completed the mission. It gave him 15,000 experience points. He was given the map and a hidden key. Our boy was surprised to see that he completed the mission. He realized that the system determined that he defeated Bobin. While he was looking at his system, Ubre came close to him and gave him and Salili some caps to cover their heads. He told them that they need to move because of the thunderstorm. One of Bobin's subordinates told him that they will be screwed if the thunderstorm catches up to them. He told his boss that they need to move now. Bobin did not listen to his subordinate. He called out to Zhiliao. He asked our boy to come back because the battle was not over. He told our boy that he still needs to fight. Upon seeing that their boss was not listening to them, the two men began to drag him away. Our boy turned around when he heard what the swordsman was saying. He was surprised to see that Bobin still wanted to fight him even in their current situation. Ubre asked Zhiliao to stop spacing out. He told him that he needs to move before the thunderstorm arrives. Our boy quickly ran to meet the man. In the next scene, we are taken to the house. We see Salili attending to our boy's injuries. While Zhiliao was shaking in pain, our girl told him that she is almost done. She asked him to endure a little longer. She told our boy that it is hard for her to apply medicine with him shaking. Zhiliao apologized to Salili. The girl did not understand why our boy was apologizing. She told him that he is much stronger than she expected. Our boy apologized to her for inconveniencing her and Grandpa Ubre. Zhiliao was surprised to see that he did not level up after receiving the experience point. Due to this, he had to get his injuries treated by Salili. Our boy realized that he needs to study the leveling mechanism. While thinking, our boy asked Salili if she and her grandpa knew Bobin. Our girl revealed to Zhiliao that she and Bobin grew up together. She told him that they are like blood-related siblings. Immediately she said this. Salili told our boy that she is done with his wounds. Zhiliao thanked the girl for her efforts. With a smile on her face, Salili told our boy that she is the one who is thankful to him. Zhiliao smiled when he heard this. After saying this, our girl picked up an umbrella and told our boy that she needs to meet her grandpa. She asked him to rest up. After Salili left, Zhiliao took a look outside. He remembered that the rain was also heavy the day he came into the game. Our boy wondered if his mother is doing okay. He knew that she would be anxious because she could not find him. Zhiliao knew that he had to get home regardless of the cost. Our boy opened the system to check the map he was given. He was certain that the map would help him find the temple. He believed that he would be able to defeat the monster guarding the temple. While staring at the map, Zhiliao decided to set out once the rain had stopped. While thinking, the system asked our boy to accept the hidden key he was given. Zhiliao became curious about the key. He decided to accept the key. According to the system, mysterious treasure chests will randomly drop during a battle. By using a key to unlock the chest, they will randomly drop a gem or piece of equipment that cannot be bought in the store. Zhiliao was surprised to hear the function of the key. He found it to be intriguing. Our boy put on a jacket and assured himself that he will soon leave the game. The moment he put the jacket on, Ubre stepped into the house. Our boy welcomed the man. Ubre apologized to Zhiliao for not checking on him earlier. He told him that it took some time for him to finish protecting the seedlings from the heavy rain. Zhiliao asked the man if he needs something from him. The old man asked our boy about the state of his body. Zhiliao assured the man that he will be fine. He told him that he will heal in a few days. Ubre told our boy that he never expected him to win against Bobin. He revealed to him that Bobin is a very strong swordsman in the village. Zhiliao revealed to the man that he would not have one if Bobin had not underestimated him. The old man took out his weed and told our boy that he knows how strong Bobin is. Ubre knew that a person cannot just rely on their strength in a battle. He knew that a person had to consider other factors like willpower. The old man was certain that our boy did not win by coincidence while he was smoking his pipe. Zhiliao asked the old man to tell him why Bobin behaved so rudely if he and Salili grew up together. Ubre told our boy that it is a long story. 10 years ago, Ubre and Salili just arrived in Latinea. They got to a house and were about to ask the owners if they could stay for the night before they could say anything. Ubre and Salili discovered a strange demonic beast attacking the family that owned the house. Unfortunately, Ubre and his granddaughter arrived a little late. The monster had killed the owners of the house. Fortunately, their child was still alive. With tears in his eyes, the boy begged his mother to get up. When the monster heard the boy crying, it rushed to attack him. Before the monster could bite the boy's head, it was attacked by lightning. The huge wolf got pushed back. The monster was attacked by a younger Ubre. The monster was annoyed to see a human. It quickly ran into the forest. When Ubre took a look at the dead woman, he saw the boy crying next to her. This boy was Bobin. Ubre took Bobin with him after he buried his parents. After hearing Ubre's story, Zhiliao did not understand why the man was behaving rudely to Ubre. He asked the old man to tell him the reason why Bobin acts so rudely. According to Ubre, the swordsman believes that his reason for living is to find the monster that killed his parents. The old man had always tried to persuade Bobin to give up on his goal and live happily. He revealed to Zhiliao that there are strong monsters that are powerful beyond his imagination. Ubre revealed to our boy that he might not be able to kill the monster that killed Bobin's parents even if he uses all his power. Although the old man did his best to persuade him, Bobin still left. Zhiliao could not believe that a monster was so powerful that even Ubre was not certain that he could defeat the monster. He wondered about how powerful the monster was. After explaining himself, Ubre stood up and put out his weed. He asked our boy to get some rest. Zhiliao was not focused on what the man said. He was more worried about the fact that he had a map to the temple. He realized that he still needed to travel through the desert. Our boy remembered how he was killed by the Dominator. He was worried because he did not know the amount of powerful monsters that are in Latinea. He knew that he will definitely not survive with his current strength. Zhiliao remembered that he actually got a bonus attribute, and yet he was still easily killed by the Dominator. Our boy understood that he needed to improve no matter what. Before the old man could step out of the house, Zhiliao asked him to wait. He told the old man that he wants him to teach him how to fight. He explained to Ubre that he wants to become strong enough to find the temple. He told him that he wants to leave the desert. Ubre put his cap on and asked our boy to have a good rest. Zhiliao was surprised to see the man leaving. He told the old man that he is serious. He told him that he has a way of leaving the desert. The moment the old man stepped out, Zhiliao realized that he might have made a mistake. He remembered that this was the same reason why Bobin and Ubre part ways. He wondered if he was too impulsive by asking now. While he was under the rain, Ubre stopped walking. He asked our boy to come to the hill tomorrow when the thunderstorm is over. He told Zhiliao that he will teach him if he can pass his test. Immediately he said this, he walked forward. Our boy assured the old man that he will pass his test. As he walked forward, Ubre remembered what happened when he stopped Zhiliao's attack. He did not know how our boy was able to use techniques that slowly broke his thunder shield, which is his strongest defense magic. The old man's hope reignited after seeing this. He wondered if Zhiliao might actually be able to lead everyone out of the desert before our boy could sit on the bed. He gets a message from the system. Our boy was given his daily missions. He was asked to run for 10 kilometers with weights, do 3,000 push-ups with weights and 2,000 sit-ups with weights. Zhiliao did not like the hellish workout, however. He could not give up the attributes point because they are important to him. He decided to accept the mission. The next day, we see our boy working out in the field. He was surprised to see that the system actually gave him the weight to carry. While training, Zhiliao began to smile. It had been a long time since he felt the pressure of working towards a goal. The challenge made him happier than doing homework. After completing his mission, the system gave our boy 4 attribute points. Zhiliao decided to add 2 points to his intelligence and 2 points to his stamina. While he was staring at his system, someone calls out to him. When our boy turned around, he saw Salili walking towards him. Zhiliao asked the girl to tell him why she came. Sailali put her hand into her bag and told our boy that she wanted to give him breakfast. She told him that she did not see him in the house. She revealed to him that Grandpa Ubre told her where he was. Upon seeing that our boy was not wearing clothes, Sailali asked him if he was training. Immediately she asked her question. She gave Zhiliao his food in a wrapped cloth. Our boy revealed to her that Ubre agreed to teach him how to fight. He told her that he came out to train in order to get prepared. Sailali was surprised to hear that her grandpa agreed to teach our boy. While Zhiliao was stuffing his face with dumplings, Sailali told him that she cannot wait to see the type of abilities he will awaken. Our boy was surprised to hear this. He asked her if he can awaken other abilities when he is already a healer. Our girl revealed to Zhiliao that his profession is something God gave him. However, element attributes are acquired according to one's personal abilities. Everyone is born with different attributes. Sailali herself is a fire attribute user. Her grandpa is a thunder attribute user and Bobin is a shadow attribute user. A profession is just a direction of development, while attributes decides one's fighting skill. Upon hearing Sailali's explanation, our boy became excited. He wondered about the kind of attribute he will awaken. Sailali revealed to Zhiliao that the world which she and her grandpa used to live in had 5 continents. The continent which she lived in is known as Polaris. It was the place where the human race lived in. Plentiful products and trade were the trademark of the continent. Due to this, people from all over the world would congregate there. To the west of Polaris, there are a lot of active volcanoes. The Dragon Knights reside in this area known as Megalada. To the east of Polaris is a continent covered in a dense forest. The continent is known as Bergama. The elves who know powerful magic and other giant monsters live in this continent. In the north, there is a continent that has eternal winter. Several beasts and giants live in this continent. It is known as Xanthedo. In the south, there is a continent called Chubadik. It is a continent that dwarves live in. The dwarves are known to possess the best forging ability among every race. Their continent is also referred to as the Edge of the World. According to legends, the endless sea can lead a person to the realm of gods. As long as the person can pass through the sea and arrive at the residence of the gods, the person can receive infinite amount of power. Sailali explained to Zhiliao that she always believed that the realm of the gods and the endless sea were simply myths. However, her perspective changed after she arrived in Latinea. Our girl began to believe in the myths. Upon hearing her story, our boy told her that the temple is also probably real. He assured her that they can definitely leave the desert. Sailali smiled when she heard this. While they were talking, someone comes to interrupt them. The person asked them if they are enjoying their conversation. Sailali quickly stood up when she saw her grandpa. When his granddaughter got close to him, Ubre teased her by asking her if she has finished confessing her feelings. Our girl was startled when she heard this. She asked her grandpa to stop spouting nonsense. The old man turned to our boy and asked him if he is prepared for the test. With a serious look on his face, Zhiliao assured the old man that he is ready. In the next scene, we see Ubre explaining things to our boy. The man told Zhiliao that at the beginning of creation, the gods gave the different races missions and different professions. The only thing everything has in common is that the world was created by the elements. Ubre explained to our boy that the world consists of things beyond what he can see and touch. Example of such things are light and shadow. The old man put his hand together and slowly gathered lightning in his hands. He told Zhiliao that he has to heighten his perception if he wants to harness the strength of the elements. The moment he said this, the lightning began to expand and tiny symbols appeared around Ubre. He compressed the symbols together and placed his hand on the ground. He explained to Zhiliao that he needs to truly experience the flow of the elements and feel their existence. Immediately he said this. The old man's body released a large amount of lightning. Our boy was surprised to see this. When Ubre stood up, we see a magic circle on the ground. The old man explained to Zhiliao that there is a beast habitat outside the Latinea teleportation array. He told our boy that he discovered the area when he was hunting. Ubre placed his hand on his sword, which is known as Ozil. The sword was the old man's companion in battle for decades. Ubre took out his sword and stretched out his hand. He explained to Zhiliao that he will reactivate the teleportation array in 3 days. He told our boy that he will pass his test if he can use his sword to kill the king of the beasts and bring back its head. Before our boy could accept the sword, the old man revealed to him that he will only use the true power of the sword and kill the beast king when he has awakened his elemental power. Ubre told Zhiliao that he might never return. He told our boy that he still has a chance to back out. Our boy smiled when he heard this. He grabbed the sword and told the old man that he never retreats. The moment he said this, he walked towards the teleportation array. He assured Ubre that he will return with the head of the Beast King. Immediately, he stepped on the array. The system appeared in front of him and asked him to confirm his mission of awakening his elemental power. Zhiliao accepted the mission. The system told him that he has 72 hours to complete the mission. Immediately it said this. The teleportation array launched our boy to the sky. While looking at the sky, the old man said that the orcs have an incredible defensive power. Ubre knew that the only way for Zhiliao to defeat the Beast King is by awakening his elemental power. The man said that the power of the elements will come to our boy in desperate times. The scene shifts and we see Zhiliao arrive at a different location. Our boy was surprised to see where he was. He noticed that the mission location was completely different from the desert he was in at the beginning. The sand was black and there wasn't a single ray of sunlight. The worst part was that the area had a terrible stench. Zhiliao decided to ignore everything and focus on his mission. Our boy knew that he had to first find a herd of orcs. While looking at his system, our boy realized that it will be very difficult for him to defeat the boss with his current level. Zhiliao knew that he had to find a way to kill smaller mobs in order to raise his level. While he was thinking of how to find smaller mobs, we see a creature behind him. The creature tried to attack our boy with its tentacles. Zhiliao was able to sense the monster's presence. He quickly distanced himself from the monster. Our boy was surprised to see that the monsters in the area could already sense his presence. He was more surprised to see the monster in front of him. The huge monster had a pair of wings and a huge head with several tentacles around it. The monster is known as a dotham. It is a level 20 monster. It is the most secretive monster in Latinea. Zhiliao grabbed Ozil. He remembered that Ubre told him that the sword can still be used to kill even if he has not awakened his elemental power. The old man told our boy that he can use the sword in any way he desires. Our boy decided to test the sword. He grabbed it and rushed to attack the monster. After experiencing different fights, Zhiliao realized that he is no longer a newbie player. The dotham fired several tentacles at our boy. Zhiliao easily dodged the attacks. While dodging the attack, Zhiliao noticed that he could no longer feel a sense of terror. This feeling had been replaced by an intense fighting spirit. As he cut the dotham's tentacles, our boy assured himself that he will become stronger if he continues to kill mobs. Upon seeing that Zhiliao was blocking its attack, the monster tried to attack our boy from above. Zhiliao managed to dodge the attack by moving back. Immediately he dodged the attack. He charged at the monster. The dotham fired more tentacles at our boy. Zhiliao easily cut through the tentacles. The moment he got close to the monster, our boy stabbed it in the chest. He twisted his sword and used it to tear the beast apart. Zhiliao leveled up and received 5 attribute points for killing the monster. After killing the monster, our boy realized that he loved the feeling he gets when he kills a monster and levels up. He loved the feeling of increasing his strength. While looking around, Zhiliao saw a large amount of dothams rushing towards him. Guys, we have come to the end of our video. If you guys want more of this recap, let me know in the comments section. Don't forget to like and smash that subscribe button for more recaps. See you guys later.